Good afternoon, Lancaster. Welcome to Lancaster Connects. My name is Ben McClure, one of your hosts. Well, actually, your only host for today. I am typically here with my business partner, Jeff Giannakovo, who unfortunately can't be here today to do this show with me, but he is the co-owner of Gardner's Mattress and More with me. Again, this is Lancaster Connects. Lancaster Connects is a show that highlights community benefit organizations giving back, of course, to the Lancaster community. So that's nonprofits, charitable organizations. Got a great one on the show today. We'll bring Kristin on a little bit. Kristin is representing, she's actually the president of the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. Going to have a great conversation with her and all the awesome things that they do all year long, but specifically their summer concert music series. So that's going to be really cool to learn more about that. You might be watching this on YouTube Live or Facebook Live, or maybe even LinkedIn. We're on there as well. Both the Gardner's Mattress and More and Lancaster Connects YouTube, Facebook channels. If you haven't yet given those pages a like, the Gardner's Mattress and More page or the Lancaster Connects Facebook page, please go ahead and do that. The more people that have access to the show, the more eyeballs and help we can give these organizations that we highlight on the show. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, smush that love button and subscribe to the podcast as well. We would love that. This is also an audio podcast. You might catch it from time to time, maybe driving around. Of course, it's a video podcast if you're watching it online. I highly recommend doing that because, you can see our guest. You can see imagery from, the organization's website or Facebook pages or Instagram pages, whatnot. But this is also an audio podcast. So anywhere you listen to podcasts, that could be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know the other podcast players, but those are the two big ones, right? I was actually watching the introduction video there, and it's kind of quick, but you can see some past shows that scroll through, and I always see one that kind of strikes me as a fun show. Joe Urick from J-Dog Hauling. It's a veteran-owned. Urick is a veteran, and he employs veterans. They go into people's homes and help them declutter, remove junk from the home, the garage, the whatever. Basement. And I actually saw him on my ride into work today. I saw the J-Dog truck and waste hauler trailer going the other direction there. So there, Chris from Castad, our fantastic producer here. He's got the J-Dog website on the screen there. So if you have junk removal needs, J-Dog, veteran-owned company right here in Lancaster. J-Dog is the place to call. I like I said, I just saw them this morning on my way in. I'm like, oh, J-Dog. And then I saw them scroll by in the introduction video there. So figured I'd give Jay and his team there at J-Dog a shout out. All right. So it is April 28th. We are a couple weeks into spring here. Weather is really starting to get really nice. Here in Lancaster, we had a great week of weather and sunshine last week. The grass is growing like you mow the lawn and then you have to mow it a day or two later. But that's the beauty of spring. Things are growing. Things are getting green. Of course, here in Lancaster, we're getting excited about the summer music concert series here at Longs Park. So I guess it's a good time to bring on our guest. We've got Kristin Chronister from the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a little introduction just to kind of introduce you and the show here. So today on Lancaster Connects, we welcome Kristin Chronister, president of the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. Kristin leads the charge in bringing live music experiences to our community each summer, all while keeping them free and accessible for everyone. From organizing world-class performances to fostering deep community connections, Kristin and the foundation are making sure Longs Park remains a cultural gem for the heart of Lancaster.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. So this is actually your first time on the show. We had Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation on the show maybe a couple years ago with Tony Kirkner, who's also part of the board. So shout out to Tony and the company he works for, Two Dudes Painting. Great organization, great dude. But so we learned about Longs Park back then. And I'd like to get, again, from you, the kind of the recap of what Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation does, the mission, how you became involved, and of course, let's talk about this year's lineup and what you love about what you're doing in 2025 in Longs Park.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the mission of Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation.
Our mission is to curate music and art in Longs Park all summer long. So we do the summer music series and we do the art festival Labor Day weekend.
Okay, yeah. So beyond the music series, you're also involved. I mean, you're the president, so you're involved in like everything that Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation is going on.
Yes. It's a lot of planning. So it's a year-long commitment, but our heavy time is June through Labor Day.
Yep. So I'm curious, how did you become involved in the organization?
So I'm originally not from Lancaster. My husband and I moved here in late 2018, had our second son in 2019. And I was working full time when the pandemic hit with two very, very young children. And I burnt out. So I left my job and took some time to just be with my family. And meanwhile, my husband's cousin, who lives in the area, was a member of the board for Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. And he said, So what are you doing? You want to come hang out with us and do some cool stuff? So I joined the board shortly thereafter, and I've been with them ever since.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to become involved? I mean, obviously it was at the kind of prodding of your cousin, I think you said.
Yes.
But like what inspired you to be part of this organization?
I'm a musician myself, and I feel like music should be accessible to everyone all the time. And that we should be paying our artists properly as well, of course. So what attracted me most was the music series. I don't know of another town in the country who offers 12 free music concerts every summer and has been doing it for 62 years. So that was really inspiring to me. And I want to make sure it continues.
Yeah, that's awesome. So 62 years, do you know the history of the amphitheater? Like, was it built around that time frame and was it built for this purpose or was it built for something else? Do you know that?
So it was built for this purpose. And I'm a little, like, we have a resident historian on our board, Dave Walls, and he would have a way better answer to this question than I do. But it was founded for concert series. And so it's evolved over time, but we have been performing in this amphitheater, which was created for this purpose, to create music for the park since 1962. So this will be our 63rd year.
That's incredible. So I love hearing that, and I learned this pre-show that you have a music background. I think you said you were an opera singer for 10 years?
I was. Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think you're the second opera singer we've had on this show.
Oh.
We had a gentleman named Troy, who is an employee at Universal Athletic Club, and he was an opera singer.
Oh.
No longer an opera singer, but once a singer, always a singer,
yeah,
right?
And you don't often hear that people are opera singers, so that's pretty cool.
No, not really. Not really. That's awesome. Can you sing? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, a little loud.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't have to sing here. All right. So that's awesome, So passion for music. Now you're bringing that to your work here with the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. You've now been involved for 3 or 4 years now. So what makes Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation such a unique treasure right here in Lancaster? I mean, you mentioned it's the only one that you know of in the country that does free concert, like 12 free concerts a year like this.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main points. I haven't been to every single small town in America.
Yeah, sure.
But
Would take a little long to do that.
yeah, I've lived in Memphis. I grew up in Atlanta. I lived in Boston, where I got
Okay.
some of my education. It it's just really rare to have something so consistently offered, right? So I'm sure other places
Mm,
have done this periodically
sure.
over time or have some one-offs. This has been 63 years now of consistently delivering free world-class music to Lancaster community. That's pretty rare. I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also
Yeah.
think it's rare that we have the opportunity, right? So, like, audience goers can probably sit in the same seat that maybe their grandparents sat in when they were watching concerts at the
Yep.
park.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that connection's really cool.
Yeah. I know. My family goes. I have two kids, and maybe we haven't gone as much recently because the kids are involved in all kinds of things, of course. But really, when they were young, we were there almost every Sunday, and it is so cool to, it's a nice Sunday afternoon. You eat dinner or whatever, and then you can go to the park. It's free parking, right? Free concert, free parking.
Yeah.
You just bring your chairs, bring your snacks, bring dinner if you want. People will get a pizza and bring it there. They'll bring their own dinner. Um, and just have fun. You have food trucks there.
Mhm.
You have other experiences there. There's an opportunity to donate, of course,
Mhm.
to the foundation, which we'll talk about later on in the show there. But what else about the experience is can people expect if they've never been to a Long Park Amphitheater show, summer music series show? What can they expect?
Well, you hit a lot of the really high points, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think the biggest attraction that you didn't mention is that you can bring your dog. Um,
Oh yeah,
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 that's I don't know. For me, that's a pretty cool thing. It
yep,
can truly be a whole family event.
yep,
And working the concerts, I like it when people bring their dogs because then I get to meet new
sure.
dogs.
There
Um,
you go.
I particularly enjoy, as a parent of young children, watching all the little kids gather at the front, right in
Hmm.
front of the stage. Right, it's not a high stage; it's not far away from you. You can really see these musicians
Yep.
playing. And my daughter will dance like it's nobody's business, and my son will just kind of stare at the guitarists and watch their fingers move.
Yes.
And I think being that close to live music is really important for our community, but mainly for children. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's one of the biggest draws for me.
Yeah. And these are legit musical acts. These are not like just, you know, a band that got together last week and is playing a free show in the park. These are artists that are, world-class artists, recording artists, artists that tour the country, tour the world, playing free concerts here in Lancaster.
Mhm.
Is that right?
That's correct. Now it's free for the public.
Right.
And so
Right.
I mentioned earlier, we do pay our artists a very competitive but negotiated
Yep.
price.
Yep.
But we do feel really lucky. Like we have a really great reputation in the industry.
Hmm.
That we treat our artists well. It's a great venue to perform. They love
Yeah.
performing at the amphitheater. Um,
Yeah.
and we're able to find artists who are kind of traveling through the area, which is one of
Yep.
the reasons we get such great big names, is that it's a Sunday night and they wouldn't be performing anyway. They can kind of scoot through Lancaster, do a really cool show.
Yeah.
And that really helps us get those bigger named bands.
I gotta imagine some of these artists, they might be performing maybe Saturday night in Philadelphia and their next gig is Pittsburgh or DC and, like early in the week and they can just kind of do, a little detour here to Lancaster and go on their way.
Exactly.
That's cool. That's cool. So what goes into planning these shows? You said you look for artists that might be, kind of traveling through or whatnot. Like, how do you go about picking such a diverse lineup of artists? What does that entail?
Well, I'll give a shout out to our music committee. There's about 7 of
Yeah.
us
Mhm.
who volunteer our time to select the bands every summer, which of course doesn't start in the summer. We start that process usually around January. of each year.
Okay.
We have a running list of bands on our wish list. So if we can't get a band one year, we keep them on the list and see if we can get them in subsequent years. So those bands usually get our highest priority. As we start the process, we look like, who did we not get last year that we really want to get this year? We also have really great relationships with agencies. And like I said, it's kind of a sought after venue. So we'll get kind of hounded between October and February from agents kind of pushing their artists to us. Yeah. Which is great and overwhelming because it's actually pretty impressive how many great bands are out there. But we trust these agents, and we don't always go through agencies. Sometimes we're going directly to the bands themselves, but it comes from many, many years of doing this, where we've created these relationships. I would like to believe that we have a really eclectic music committee. So we all value different genres, which allows us to, kind of pick a wide variety of music. So that's kind of the general gist of how we get it going. Yeah.
That's cool. So really a few questions. And that's one of the things I thought was cool over the years when I went with my family is every week it's something different. You're not going to see the same, like you said, genre of music or the same type of music. You got reggae one week, you got jazz another week, you've got, maybe a rock show, maybe, acoustic sort of show. It covers the gamut of really musical styles. I think that's really, really cool. So Chris has on the screen here some of the performers from last year, some great artists. I think you said this season starts in June?
Yeah, June 1st.
June 1st. And maybe, Chris, you can bring up this year's lineup. What are some highlights from this year's lineup?
Okay, so musically, aside from having a really diverse lineup as usual, we got some, I don't want to say they're local, but the first band, In the Pocket, it features members of the Hooters, which is a really well-known Philly band.
Yep.
So that's really exciting. Again, it's not super local, but we know that a lot of people in the area love
they're
those.
familiar.
Yeah, love those musicians. The Delamay, the next one that you see on the screen there, we had them last summer as our last concert, which actually was a huge storm. So we had to cut off the show. So we were really glad to get them back. They were really, really, really wonderful when they were playing, and it kind of bummed us out that they only got 30 minutes in. So we were glad to get them back. Yeah, just, from a diversity perspective, we've got East African retro pop in the middle of June.
It's
and then
awesome.
Yeah, and then we hop the next weekend to like Scottish Celtic rock. And then go into the U.S. Army Band for the patriotic concert. I mean, it like you said, it's something different every single weekend. In July, we have some really big name groups. So
Galactic for sure.
Yeah, and we've been trying to get them for years. Actually, I'll shout out to Tony. He got us Galactic and ALO, which are both in July.
Nice.
And it takes a lot of work, especially for a big band like Galactic. The agent really wants to get them here, but the band maybe isn't so interested in touring that summer. But we lucked out because Galactic is releasing an album this year, and they're doing a tour.
That's perfect.
And then the agent worked to set up a lineup of performances around this date so that the band would have this kind of reason to be in the area.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we're excited about that. Some really great, we don't always get huge names. ALO, which is on the screen now, their website, they're members of Jack Johnson's band.
Oh, okay.
So, it's pretty beachy rock. And, the fact that they played with Jack Johnson is a huge draw for me.
For sure.
Let's see. We do have some smaller named bands, Hippies and Cowboys, which is out of Nashville. Jamie McLean, we've been trying to get him for years. Harrisburg Jazz Collective is a huge big band swing jazz group
That's awesome.
out of Harrisburg. So love to get them. Yeah.
So I see on the, it's an incredible lineup. I mean, I'd love to see Galactic. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
On the right hand side of that screen, when Chris was scrolling through, I see Beer Garden. What's the Beer Garden all about?
So we've done this a couple times in the past. We've had beer gardens at the park.
Yep.
And this summer we're going to have Mad Chef and Jimmy Juice. And then Lancaster Conservancy partners with us every year as part of their Water Week, and they're bringing Our Town Brewery to one of the concerts. So, it's always fun to have a beer garden. I think it's not something that we can do every single week at the moment, but we try to work with local breweries to get them some exposure and to offer the audience just something a little different.
So is that a special area of the lawn, I guess, that's dedicated to beer garden?
Yeah. So we, just some context for the art festival, people may know that we have beer and wine for sale, and you can walk around the park with your beer and you just walk freely. Yep. That's because we close off the entire park and we restrict admission, and you can't carry it outside the park. For the music concerts, everything's free and you can show up, you can walk from Wegmans over. And so the laws require us to have a sectioned off area.
That makes sense.
And you have to drink the beer within that enclosed area.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really great. One of the things I think that's awesome, I mean, and you mentioned it earlier when you were talking about the kids dancing. I mean, there are a ton of kids there. It's a very family friendly time. All of the musical acts are family friendly. And I think that's one of the really, really cool things about that, because, not every musical act out there is family friendly. Let's face it, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We kind of preface that. We've had some blues players over the years who we've gently reminded them that this isn't a smoky lounge, that there are children there. And everyone's always very, willing to do that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. You mentioned when we were talking about the wish list, you brought up the wish list. Are you able to share wish list bands, or is that like a secret? I don't want you to get in trouble.
Oh, well, as I think through them, I'm not going to share our secrets, but I will say that there are some bands that are on there for years because they're such wish list names. I would say, like, who did we try to get this year? Parker Millsap, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So just some big names. I tried to get Dave Matthews Band one year.
I was gonna ask you if there was one band you could bring here. Oh, even if they're not on the wish list, who would you bring?
No, so I love me some Dave Matthews. Controversial, but my wish list would be Brandi Carlile. And
maybe she can bring Elton along too.
She's great. Even if it's just her and the Twins. What a great show! I've seen her a couple of times, and the Amphitheater is a great venue for that kind of music. So she'd get my vote.
Yeah. There you go. Do you know how many people the park can fit? I mean, I know it's you just kind of come and you plop your chair down, but like, do you have any counts on like the biggest concert you've ever had there or anything like that?
So I think I have to say that the park's capacity for the concerts is 9,999.
Wow.
Because if we say we have 10,000 people there, I think there's some permitting issues.
Sure.
So that's my official answer. I think our biggest concerts are the patriotic concerts. And I can't say for sure, but I think we probably exceed that 10,000 number for those concerts. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up, what for folks that haven't been involved or haven't gone to the patriotic shows, I know the big one is the July 4th show with the band, the Army Band, correct?
Yep.
And you do the cannons. Charlie brings the cannons, right?
Yep. Well, he used to. We're not doing the.
Oh, used to.
Yeah, I think he I don't know the full story there, but we don't have the cannons anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But tell us about the event. So is it an all-day event?
Great
Or
question.
people line up all day? I know they like pick their spot with their blanket and there's fireworks as we see there on the screen.
Yeah. I mean, it is an all-day event, I think, historically. I think people get there as like early as they possibly can. For us, it's definitely an all-day thing. I think the city officials and the parks department and our parking attendants get there like 7 a.m. to set up.
Yeah, wow.
This year, we are going to open the park to vehicular traffic, right? We can't restrict people from walking in, but we are going to restrict driving in and parking until 2:00. So that will definitely cut into the time people normally try to get there to, pick out their spots.
Yep.
But as you can imagine, the resources on the city to have open all day is actually pretty tremendous. So yeah, people come. You can come after 2:00. The food trucks will be there. The band does not start playing until 8 in order for it to actually be dark in time for the fireworks. That's a little later than our other concerts start. This year, we're going to have a drone show as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. We had a sponsor specifically sponsor that endeavor. So that's going to be really cool. And hopefully we can do it every year.
So is that like, so if somebody's, has their blanket right there on the amphitheater lawn and they look up, it's like right above them? Is that the idea?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you seen like what that show is going to be, or is it going to be a total surprise? Or
I think it's going to be a total surprise. It is the same company who did a drone show in Lidditz last year. So I don't know if it's going to be the same show they did, but I have not seen like a preview of it.
That's cool. I mean, I've never seen one in person, but you see it on little clips online, and it just looks so amazing that they can program these drones to do a show in the air. So that's a cool experience to tack on to the July 4th patriotic concert there. So obviously, it takes a major effort from, of course, the foundation and, like you said, the resources of the city to put on these shows. But really, there's a big volunteer effort behind it as well. Can you speak to that? Effort?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole foundation is pretty much made up of volunteers. We have one paid employee. So I think that alone speaks to the devotion that the community has towards these concerts. It's like a place of honor to be a volunteer for Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. There we are on cleanup day. So it's a huge volunteer effort. From soup to nuts, every single person that you see, with the exception of maybe a couple parking attendants, and our fantastic paid employee, Kathy Hanley, who's there every week as well. Everyone you see working at the concert is a volunteer. There's our elusive Dave Walls. He's been with the organization for decades. We cannot do what we do without the volunteers that show up every Sunday to help us sell merchandise from the bands or sell our merchandise if we have any that year. And then to, walk through, honestly, to help also walk through the audience and get, cash donations is a huge help so that we can continue to do this.
How many volunteers might be needed on a Sunday afternoon, evening?
We generally need, if we're doing a beer garden, it adds because of the length of time. I think that's the Clark Associates on the screen there. They bring a bunch of volunteers in every year as well to help us. I want to say it's got to be close to 15 to 20 volunteers every week to get the concerts going. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some other ways that the community can help Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation? Obviously attending shows, donating, volunteering their time.
Mhm.
But what are some other ways that community and businesses around the community can get involved?
Well, I mean, you mentioned several of the high points, right? Volunteering for us is a huge thing. Donating, another huge help. Um, and that's all mainly on the individual level, although being a business sponsor who brings volunteers is always awesome. If you have an incentive in your company to get your employees to donate more time locally,
Yep.
come help us. But we do support a lot of the businesses and nonprofits in the area at the concerts because we represent them, right? So if they're a
Yep.
sponsor for the event, or if they're a nonprofit, they'll get a tent, an opportunity to speak on the stage, get their brand and their presence known to maybe a base of clientele that they hadn't reached
Yeah.
before. And that's a way to support us while also getting something else out of it. And I think the last way probably for an individual or even a business to support us is to come to the art festival.
Yeah.
Our art festival is the Summer Music Series' biggest supporter. So we use the proceeds
Okay.
from the art festival to help fund the Summer Music Series. And so that's a really, again, a mutually beneficial experience for community members to come to the art festival, maybe find something really special to put up in your home. And you can know that any money you spend getting into the park or at the pubs, et cetera, that's all going towards supporting the music series.
Got you. So what is the entrance fee to get into the art festival?
$15.
Yep.
If you're 25 and under, it's free.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We've been really trying to, include the younger community in Lancaster. And that we feel like that's really important, that they get to come and experience the art without having to pay. But $15 to get in for one-day admission. And yeah, I think there's probably advance tickets that will go on sale soon. You can get them cheaper, but $15.
So the artists that are there, local artists, regional artists, national artists, what is the makeup of artists that are there?
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah, so as wonderful as the musicians are that we get for the concert series, it's equally, if not more, renowned at the art festival.
Wow.
Artists will come from...
It's a big deal.
Yeah, they'll come from all over the country. They will... some have been coming for years. Every year, I think this year we had close to 600 applicants to be in the art festival.
Oh, wow.
The jury selection for that is extremely competitive. And yeah, a lot of the artists who are there from other parts of the country. And then we have, and I don't know if it's an equal amount, but we have a lot of regional and local artists as well. We've also got a really great program that we've started a few years ago called the Emerging Artist Program. This year it's underwritten by the Faree Foundation. And it allows us to provide, I wouldn't say financial assistance to artists who are just coming on the scene, but we do make it easier for them to access the show their first year. And that's another selective process, that they're up and coming great artists, but they're new on the scene. And that gets them to come back every year. And we're really proud of that. In addition to supporting artists who are extremely successful around the country, we're also using it as a platform to launch new artist careers.
That's awesome. And this is Labor Day weekend, every Labor Day weekend, correct?
That's right.
And rain or shine?
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the same thing with the concerts, right? The concerts are rain or shine unless the rain reaches a level where it's either dangerous for the attendees or the musicians.
Yeah. So the concerts are rain or shine unless there's lightning.
Yeah, right.
So we have had concerts where there's a heavy rain and no lightning, and we've had we just keep going.
Yep.
We've also had concerts where there's heavy rain. A lot of the audience doesn't stick around. But the artist then makes room on the stage for whatever audience is left to come sit on the stage with them while they play.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we do our best to keep everything going. And we will never risk the artists, the equipment, or the community if there's lightning. That's the only thing.
Yep. Makes sense. So what are some of the biggest challenges that the foundation faces? Keeping these events free, keeping them accessible for the entire public. What are some of the challenges that you face?
I think it's really hard to prove value on something so emotional. So there are a lot of I think there's struggles with getting volunteers who are new volunteers, I'll say. Because we have a really, really deep base of volunteers who've been volunteering for years. But it's hard to get, I would say, the younger part of Lancaster to donate their time. I do think that that'll change in years as just things change over. But that's our biggest struggle for the music series. We also work really hard each year to get sponsorship to help cover whatever the art festival doesn't cover. And that is it's not a rat race, but it takes a lot of work. And our development committee is extremely devoted. So that's if they were ever to walk away, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think Chris had it on the screen earlier. For somebody who might be watching, listening, whatever, who wants to donate, the longspark.org website, I think longspark.org/volunteer might be the page. So I'm guessing somebody can go on there. Obviously, they can make a donation, I'm sure, on the website. But if they'd like to volunteer, I'm sure there's a way that on that website where they would know how to do that, maybe a form to fill out or whatnot.
Yes. And we have volunteers who want to do the art festival rather than the music series. And that's something that you can pick. Which one do you want to help out with?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So for the future, you've got 2025 mapped out with the summer concert series and of course your big arts festival Labor Day weekend. But kind of down the road, any kind of like dreams or goals the foundation has for the future?
So I think our biggest goal is to keep doing this for as long as possible. I'd love to see it continue for another 60 years. So that's really big picture. In the short term, next 5 or 10 years, we are bringing back a tradition that we used to do before the pandemic. And then I think it kind of got lost. We're doing a summer music series kickoff concert at Tellus 360 in May.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be really cool. I think it used to happen a lot more frequently. And I would like to make sure that happens annually going forward. And I think on a personal level, I'd like to see Longs Park's Amphitheater Foundation do more with like youth outreach in an educational capacity. So, working with other organizations and supporting other, music ed organizations that, maybe need a place to perform or need an area that they can have their camp. I would like to see us go in that direction.
That's cool. Well, we've had, you're probably very familiar with them, but on the show, we've had Music for Everyone on John Gertie.
Yeah.
He was, I think, our first show of 2025. And then Swan, do you know Diana Wolo from Swan?
Yep.
We've had her on a couple times, and that's just an amazing organization that just needs a stage to perform on. And maybe they performed on the Longs Park stage before.
They have. Yeah. We had them a few years ago, and one of the artists who came through was part of his business mission, in addition to performing around the country, is to introduce his style of music to children. His style of music is Zydeco. And so he worked with the Swan for Kids organization, and kind of gave them a little like master class before the concert, and then they performed with him on stage. So that was
that's cool.
really exciting. And a little plug for Music for Everyone. They're going to come do I think one of their community choirs is going to perform before the June 15th concert this year. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Chris, at the moment, is scrolling through some of your sponsors.
Yes.
Do you want to shout out any of the sponsors or any that stick out to you for kind of going above and beyond in terms of their support for the foundation?
Absolutely. I'll just preface, all of our sponsors are important, right?
Absolutely.
We've had some really loyal sponsors over the years. Citadel, Clark, really the ones you see focused here. Discover Lancaster, I think, is a new sponsor this year. They're sponsoring the kids' tent at the art festival, which is great.
Oh, cool.
Everence, and as you scroll, Everett National Bank is sponsoring the drone show. High Hotels and Iron Hill are really generous in-kind donors that help us with feeding and housing the artists while they're in town.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And then Lancaster General and Penn Medicine. Wegmans gives us the green room food. And they help support us with food throughout the summer for other things. Yeah, we're extremely supported, and we feel really blessed for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, anything new for 2025? Obviously, you've got new artists, but any from a summer music concert series experience, anything new that's planned? New food trucks or new? I mean, we talked a little bit about the beer garden that you've done before.
Yep.
But
so we have a really cool collaboration with a couple local businesses this summer that we've never done before.
Oh, cool.
One of our main reasons for the summer music series kickoff concert in May at TELUS is to launch one of those partnerships with Jimmy Juice. So
I've been seeing billboards.
Yeah. I won't go into too much detail because it's secret until then. But let's just say if you come to that concert at TELUS, you'll have something special from Jimmy Juice and our collaboration. And additionally,
that's cool.
Yeah, we are. I think the design of our merchandise for this summer is from Fox Duck, which is a if you're not familiar, Fox Duck is downtown, right across from Central Market, and Wes over there has designed some really great shirts and hats for us to sell this summer that are, like pretty iconically Lancaster. So we're really excited about those additions to the summer.
That's really cool. John Arisman just tuned in. He's a fan of the show, and he just says he's shown his support for Longs Park there. So he loves that. So
awesome.
You mentioned the concert at TELUS 360.
Yeah.
What date is that?
May 14th.
May 14th.
At 7 o'clock in the Temple. We've got Tuck Ryan and the Philadelphia Four performing.
Okay.
It's going to be a great opener to the season.
That's cool. And you said there's a special gift that people will get to go, or?
Oh, it's really access to some new stuff that hasn't been available yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So pretty special to attend that May 14th, you said, right? May 14th.
Yes.
That's cool, at TELUS 360. So Chris is scrolling through the lineup, the 2025 lineup. It's every Sunday, typically at 7:30, except for I know the patriotic show is a little later to coincide with the fireworks afterwards. Anything else that we missed talking about related to either the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation or the Summer Music Series, the Art Festival, Labor Day weekend? Anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think so. We covered a lot.
We did cover a lot. I looked through my notes and I'm like, I think we got most of it there.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I just think everything that you're doing is so cool. It is special. I mean, we say it all the time on the show. Lancaster County has some really special organizations, programs, and of course, people that volunteer their time to make these experiences happen for the community. But I always had a great time attending these shows. Of course, I and my kids look forward to ice cream, the ice cream vendors, the food trucks that are there.
Yes.
But the music is just unbelievable. And it's so varied. It covers all the genres. And it's just really, really cool because, a lot of times with music, I love music, but I kind of listen to the stuff that I like. And going to Long's Park, you're going to have a different experience every Sunday night, and you're going to get exposed to new music and new musicians that you didn't maybe know existed. So I think it's just such a really cool thing to know that it's been going on for 62 years, I think he said, maybe the 63rd year. It's just really, really awesome that this community has been blessed with this foundation and this amphitheater. I think it's really, really cool. So, thank you for your hard work that you put into it. Thanks for, you got the nudge a few years back to become involved, and it's cool to hear your passion for everything that's going on there in the park.
Well, thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so that'll wrap up our time talking about the foundation. Do you have got a few minutes to learn a little bit more about things that you like to do?
Absolutely.
All right. So we call this Connection Cocktail, just a few questions to get to know our guests a little bit better. So obviously it's spring, the weather's getting a little nicer. It's, sunnier, warmer, whatever. What is your favorite thing about springtime?
So spring is my favorite season.
Okay.
It's my birthday season.
Okay.
It's also my husband and my son's birthdays. So it's a nice time of year. Very celebratory.
It's probably busy time of the year too.
Yeah. Mother's Day is in there.
Yeah.
I think spring offers spring sports. So I love watching my kids play. They're, rec sports at the moment.
Yep.
And then the pool opens at some point during the spring. So can't complain about that.
There you go. Very good. So when you're not volunteering your time to the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation, how do you like to unwind?
So many ways. I'm sure this is such a standard response, right? But I spend time with my friends. It's so fulfilling, especially at the time of our lives where our kids are roughly the same age as each other, that we can all kind of get together in someone's backyard and the parents can visit and the kids can go play.
Right.
You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to spend any money, but your heart gets filled from that kind of connection and community. Yeah.
That's cool. And
I also really love a good Aperol spritz. So that helps me unwind.
Very good. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
Well, can you get that in the beer garden? Probably
No,
not.
unfortunately not.
Next year. That's something for 2026, maybe.
Right.
All right. So everybody has an opinion on food, of course, and their favorite restaurant. And we have no shortage of places to get food in Lancaster County. So do you have a favorite food spot, restaurant, lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever? What's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, man. So I feel like this isn't fair because I haven't been to them all.
I get you.
There are so many really good ones I haven't been to. But of the ones I have been able to get out to, as a parent of young children, that doesn't happen frequently.
Well, that's a thing that's tough. Yeah. Yep.
We've had some really good memories at Double C. My husband and I tend to want to go to Conway Social Club. He's a cocktail guy.
All right.
All the big ones, 401 Prime, Belvedere, C'est La Vie, Josephine's. I haven't had a bad meal in Lancaster. It's really a great food scene.
No question about it. It seems like all the time there's new restaurants, which kind of, makes it a struggle when you do have young kids who all have varying food palates.
Yeah, only Wegmans chicken nuggets, Yeah,
right, exactly. Chick-fil-A, Yeah. But the restaurants you named have been named on this show before. So you can't go wrong with any of them.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Thanks for playing along in our Connection Cocktail. And again, thanks for being on Lancaster Connects to share all about the great work that the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation is doing right here in the community of Lancaster. So
thank you for having me.
Yeah. Have a great rest of the afternoon.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Yep. See you. All right. You know, a lot of times in these interviews, might not know a whole lot about the organization, or the person I'm interviewing. Of course, Long's Park. I've been going to Long's Park for a long time. It's just a great park to go to hike around. There's a nice pond there. It's a great place to just take a family any day and relax. There's a little petting zoo there. There's tennis courts, basketball courts, picnic areas. So Longs Park is just a really cool asset in the middle of Lancaster County, really close to here to Gardner's on the other side of Park City Mall and Route 30. But the amphitheater in Longs Park that we just talked about with Kristin Chronister, who's the president of the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation, the amphitheater is special. And the summer music concert series is just a really, really cool way to spend your Sunday evenings in the summertime. Go there with your family, meet friends there, meet new people, take the pets, take the dog there. I often see people, throwing football, throwing frisbee, throwing baseball. It's a place where you can kind of spread out. A lot of times if you go to a concert that you pay for, you're in a seat and you're like maybe don't even have a seat and you're like up next to people. And that's not the Longs Park concert experience at all. You have your own space. You have your own, I see people that bring their chairs and they bring a crossword puzzle and do the crossword puzzle while they're listening to music. Whatever you'd like to do, it's, however you want to enjoy music, you're kind of accepted at Longs Park for their summer music concert series. So it's really, really cool that Kristin and all the volunteers at the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation kind of put their heart and soul into it. So that was great to hear Kristin's take on all of that. So just a couple paying the bills things, if you will. Gardner's Mattress and More. Again, I mentioned it at the top. It's the business that I co-own with my partner in business, Jeff Giannakavo. Gardner's Mattress and More. We help Lancaster wake up happy every morning. That's what we've been doing for the last 35 years. And it's almost May, which means Memorial Day is around the corner. We have a lot of vendor promotions and store promotions going on, really starting this week and going on through Memorial Day. Here at Gardner's, we have everyday low pricing on all of our products, but we do have some vendor promotions that get offered by the vendors that we are allowed to honor through those time periods. So there are some money-saving offers starting this week through Memorial Day. So if you'd like to wake up happy or happier than you've been waking up, come see us here at 830 Plaza Boulevard. Again, gardnersmattressandmore.com, is our website. We have a couple testimonials I'd like to share. You can go online and go to our Google page, Facebook page, whatever. And we've been humbled by some awesome words from people who've had great experiences here at Gardner's. You can go to gardnersmattressandmore.com/reviews. There's some reviews on there, but we also get paper reviews mailed to us. People take their time to actually write and mail it back to us with a stamp, which is pretty cool in today's digital world. Anyway, a couple here. This person said their salesperson listened to our concerns and the type of bed we were interested in. He was not pushy. He gave us our space to try out mattresses he thought would be a good fit for us. Actually, the salesperson steered us away from a mattress when I explained specific physical issues, and they appreciate the privacy that was given to have them try out mattresses. So excellent experience. Would refer friends. I've already been back to purchase a mattress for our guest bed. So in the time that they received their delivery and wrote this testimonial, they came back and made another purchase. So that's pretty cool. And another one here just said the experience overall was above and beyond the best experience. I already referred people and we'll go there in the future. So thank you to these two customers that just got these in the mail over the weekend. I opened them up this morning. Again, I keep saying I'm going to open them live on the show and I forget to do that. But anyway, thank you for everybody who has been a customer here at Gardner's. Again, we exist to make people's lives better through the importance of a good night's sleep. And, waking up happy is not just a slogan that's, on our wall or on our cards, business cards or on our website. It's something that we truly believe in. We have a 120-night wake-up happy comfort guarantee, where if you don't like the mattress, we'll help you exchange it for something you think you'll like better. We stand by that. We just want you to be happy. We want the sleeping issues to go away, the back pain, shoulder pain, snoring, reflux, circulation trouble, whatever it is. We have solutions that can meet those sleep needs. And, we'll do the best we can to make good sleep and happy morning wake-ups a reality for you. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. For Gardener's Mattress and more. Thank you to everybody who has watched this show either live or may watch it in the future. Thanks again to our guest, Kristin Chronister from the Longs Park Amphitheater Foundation. And I didn't mention before, but I'll mention it now. If you'd like to be a guest on this show, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest. Again, we like to tell stories or have guests to tell the stories of organizations that give back to the community, maybe small businesses that have an angle to give back to the community, businesses like Gardener's Mattress and more, for example. But if you'd like to be a guest on the show, don't be shy. Go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, fill out the simple form that's there. Let us know who you are, organization you represent, and why you'd be a good fit for the show. And we'll get you scheduled. We've got guests scheduled out through June, I believe, and we're looking for some summer guests. So, summer organizations like Longs Park are great fits. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and have a great afternoon, and we'll see you on the next connection.